driven by the snow, drunk and dirty. Don't you know, now I'm still willing. I was out on the road late at night, seeing my gray house and every headlight. Dallas. And I've been promised
Song that you come carry, to have to be the tone apart. Every kind of rig that's ever been made.
And on the back roads I wouldn't get way. And if you give me weed, white sand wine, and you show me a sign, I'll be willing to be moving. Kicked by the wind, robbed by the sleet, had my head stove in, but I'm still on my feet and I'm still willing. And I smuggled some smokes and folks from Mexico, baked by the sun.
Every time I go to Mexico,
and I'm still. And I've been bound to
song that you come carry,
that had to be the tone of all. You're not every kind of rig that's ever been made.
you're in the back road, so I wouldn't get away.
And if you give me
We white sand wine, show me a sign, I'll be willing
to be moving.
Wow.
That was nice. It was nuts. It was nice.
Come on.
That was nice. More. Anything, man. Just
It's a lot of fun, boy. I've never had this much fun on a radio show before.
I'm here out of love, and I wish I could stay, but I know you heartache will stand in my way. There's no use in wishing, 'cause I ain't satisfied. I'm fit to be misfit when you're at my side. Heartache, find another place to be. I'm tired of being your best friend. Look to another for your companion. And when you might be willing. Well, there's nowhere at all. I'm feeling no pain. My body is sickly and my mind is insane. I call my new heartache to come and show me how. 'Cause I can't get no lower than the hole I'm in now. Heartache, find another place to be. I'm tired of being your best friend. Look to another for your companion. And when you do my feeling. Next. little out of tune. Can't win them all.
Guys, salute, salute, salute. I thought I was going to get stood up over here, man. Bruce Gas over here with you. Hanging in here from the lovely seacoast of Bristol, Rhode Island, man. I got a new friend I talked to yesterday, man, all the way from Canada. If you know anything about flyweight boxing in this country, then you've heard of this man. You know, he was a Olympian. He fought the great flyweight Michael Carbajal. I mean, he's got some stories to tell us. I'm going to bring him up here, man. This is my new friend. This is Scotty Bulldog Olson, man. Scotty, my brother.
Hey, how are you? So nice to be on your show. I was just so excited, very excited to be on. So thank you very much.
I just like to keep a little bit of music in the background to keep me sane here, my brother. I don't want it to overpower you, man.
No,
how are we doing, my man? How is it up there?
You know, it's pretty nice. It's we're into August, so now it'll be nice for a couple weeks, and then it'll start cooling down a little bit. It'll feel like fall in about 2 weeks. So, but it's all right. You know, there's no snow.
All right, man. Hey, I got a couple of people in here listening to us. Let me give them a shout out, okay, brother?
Sure.
I got J-Man Grayhead in here, bro. I got my brother Jose Diaz. I got Carlos Mendoza. We got the Skywalker, Tim Moosey out there. Jelly Bean 4280, bro. Thank you for coming by. Callie X, my co-host on Monday Night Boxing Talks, bro. Tiara Du, a princess, classing up this joint. Thank you for coming in here, man. Thank you for coming in, sister. Two Matador, bro. Thanks a lot for coming in. Mrs. Knockout Boxing. We have to really be on our better behavior over here. We got two of the queens from YouTube in here, Scotty. All right, man. You know, why don't you tell anybody who doesn't know who you are? Why don't you give them a little introduction on who you are, my brother? Hey, we kind of look a little bit alike here, don't we, man?
We do. We're twins. We can be twins for sure.
I'll tell you.
Well, I don't know. My name is Scotty Olson, and I've been in boxing since the age of 14. Continued along, won quite a few tournaments, won a Commonwealth Games gold medal, went to the Olympics, and came in 5th, losing to Michael Carbajal in the quarterfinal. So that was a good fight. And my overall record as a pro was 34 wins, 4 losses, and 2 draws. I had 25 out of the 34 by knockout, so 25 knockouts. So that was quite nice to attain, being able to stop some people being a flyweight.
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't think some of these people realize how small you flyweights are, bro. And tell us what your dimensions are when you were in your fighting days, my brother.
Well, I've lost about an inch, but I was 5'1", and now I'm 5 feet. So I was just a little guy, 5 feet, 112 pounds. So 112 was that was the top of my weight class at 112, and so I don't know, in kilograms is 51 kilograms. So yeah, there, you know, I had a my arms are very short, so if you had to check my reach out from one hand to the other, like, it probably comes back at about 60, and you know, just ridiculously short. So I had to be on the inside to land any quality punches. So that was what my main boxing the main focus was, to get in there and try to get hit as little as I could, and to do as much damage as I could once I was on the inside.
Now, what got you involved in boxing? I know Canada, man. We don't think boxing. We think hockey when we think Canada.
Yes.
But you got all your teeth in there, so I know you weren't playing too much hockey, bro. Tell me, how did a Canadian boy get into the sweet science, bro?
Well, that's one thing. I'm about the only Canadian boy that can't skate. So I can't even stand up on skates.
I can't
So
either, bro.
not my forte. But yeah, I got into boxing. I was into a lot of sports when I was young. I tried baseball, and nobody would ever, I'd always make a mistake, and the team would suffer. And then I was in soccer; nobody would pass me the ball, and so it was always a struggle with sports. I really like sports, but I just wasn't good at them. I didn't
Is that
excel at
because you
them
were a
at all.
small guy, maybe?
I was very small, and uh, yes, that would have been one of the reasons. Plus, just I didn't have very much athletic ability. My athletic ability would have been on a scale of from 1 to 10 at about a 2. So I didn't have a very good, very good ability. But once then I met this fighter, a pro fighter from Edmonton. His name was Al Ford, and he had I saw him uh, and he had some scars over his eyes, and when he would talk to me, he'd flick his nose, and he would throw some punches when he would elaborate on something that he had done in his boxing career. And right away I knew I wanted to be like him when I grew up. So he was the epitome of what I wanted to become. And I tried everything I could to make his decision or his help to help me get into boxing. I tried to make it solid.
Now that year you were in the Olympics, there was some great boxers to come out of that Olympics, bro. You were in Seoul, Korea, I believe.
Yes,
You
yes,
want
Bruce.
you
We
want you
were in
want, you want to
Seoul.
talk a little bit about that Olympic team? Because I know we had Riddick Bowe, Ray Mercer, Roy Jones. I mean, damn, you were bunking with some boxing royalty, brother. Now I'm not saying you're not boxing royalty because you are, my man. You definitely are. But can you tell us a little bit about that awesome Olympic team?
Oh, sure. The Olympics. We were often in competition with the Americans, and we so a lot of times we were in tournaments, international tournaments, or we would fight each other in dual international meets sometimes, so against the United States. And the United States team was just so solid. They had the best of the best. And if you're looking at the best of the best from the United States, you're looking at uh, all the top fighters in the world. So that's how it was. And um, I don't think Canada ended up beating too many people from the United States, except for in the final when Lennox Lewis was able to beat Riddick Bowe for the gold medal.
Yeah, a lot of people don't remember that Lennox Lewis, who we consider a Brit, born in Jamaica, but he represented Canada in the '88 Olympics.
Yes, he sure did. He sure did.
Mm.
He was kind of one of the pretty much an icon back then. He had gone to an Olympic Games in '84. I think he lost the decision to Tyrell Biggs, who's a fighter from the '70s, early '80s. So but Lennox did fought was such a great talent. So it was nice to see him stand on top of the podium. He did a really really good job. He made the country real proud. And yeah, really good guy.
Now, Scotty, you following boxing at all today?
I follow some. Yeah, I follow some. I don't catch up on absolutely everything. It's not.
Well, one of the brothers, Larry Liston, has a question for you out there. He wants to know if you're familiar with Bam Rodriguez.
Bam Bam.
Bam Bam, yeah, Bam Bam.
Yeah, a little bit vaguely, but I don't know all of his fights. But yes, what would your question be?
He just wanted to know. Let me see here. Let me put it up because I got the light in my eye over here, brother. I'm so computer illiterate, bro. I need somebody to help me when I get in an elevator. What do you think of Bam Rodriguez? In my opinion, he could help bring lower weight classes into the mainstream.
Oh,
It was
absolutely,
it was kind of
absolutely.
a statement, but it
That's
definitely speaks the truth, man. because
Sure did.
it's incredible the pay scale that the lighter weight fighters make as opposed to the heavyweights. Let's face it, heavyweights. One fight would make your combined paychecks of all your fights together, because it's just
Yeah.
it is amazing. It is amazing. I got a heavy leather came in here, man. Shout out to heavy leather. Shout out to my brother Demetrius Bright. Shout out to Slugger Sam. Slugger Sam's a fellow Canadian, man. Slugger, you have any questions you want to ask my friend Scotty Olson up here, bro? Because I got a few for you. Well, let's talk about some of the great boxers that came out of Canada. 'Cause I know that one of my favorites was George Chuvalo, man. I love George Chuvalo. I know he had a tough life, but you got any George Chuvalo stories, man?
Uh, well, so some of the George ones I was with him in Toronto, and we did a little karaoke thing with him uh, about 2 years ago. I guess it was 2 or 3 years now. But it could have even been four for what I know. But George is always like iconic in boxing sports. You know, if you knew anything about sports, you knew something about George Chuvalo in Canada, and you know where there wasn't a lot of boxing fans, you still knew who George Chuvalo is. So he encompassed, you know, a lot of the sports that were here in Canada. Like he is just incredible fighter, but an incredible person. Guy that went through so much, and with
Oh,
his
oh,
family.
sons.
You know, he had family, and some were addicted to drugs, and some were lost due to those habits. And but George is by far like on he's like the pinnacle of the boxing realm in Canada for sure.
And what a set of whiskers on that man. I don't think he ever got knocked off his feet, let alone knocked out.
No, no, I don't think he ever went down. I think I think he did get stopped once or
Yeah. Oh, I
maybe.
think Joe Frazier on cuts, George
Yeah.
Foreman on cuts. But aside from that, you were not going to knock George Chuvalo out. In fact,
No, no,
we were just watching a fight last night. We were going to do this on Tuesday night, right? But I know you were with your daughter singing. We're going to talk about that a little bit too. But we showed a George Chuvalo fight against Jerry Quarry, where George hit him with that left hook in the I think it was in the 10th round, and Quarry took the count on his knee, but he didn't make the 10 count. And it was a wild fight. It was in Madison Square Garden. But man, shout out to George Chuvalo, bro. What an inspirational fighter he was, man.
Oh
Now
yeah.
now you fought Michael Carbajal more times than you can count on one hand, man. How what was there a rivalry there? I mean, I'm sure today there's nothing but love there. But when you guys were fighting, it's almost like every tournament you get into, you eventually ended up head to head with Michael Carbajal.
Yeah, yeah, we fought in some, I had the pleasure, and I really call it a pleasure because I was recognized as high as he was in terms of being a fighter, but in in terms of the kind of a quality person that Michael Carbajal is, he's just a quality class act, and he was very good for boxing, and really helped bring back a lot of the lighter weight classes. He was actually the one, and then there was Chiquita Gonzalez, Johnny Tapia, myself, and then Danny Romero, and maybe a couple other, like Mark Johnson was another great fighter in the weight class. And they we all were bringing boxing, or a little bit of attention focused on the flyer weights or the lighter weight categories. And there was a few featherweights in there too, so not just the flyweights helped that. But yeah, Carball is
I'm
just a outstanding fighter. Um, Four
I-
times we fought.
I'm going
Let's
to
see.
share one of your fights. I'm going to share the third meeting when you fought as amateurs.
Okay. How did you?
Maybe you can talk us through this fight,
Oh,
Michael Carbajal.
this was exciting. This was an exciting fight. This was in Charlotte, North Carolina, And this was a Canada versus USA dual meet. So, of course, Michael was top in in the United States, and I was top in Canada. So, and we had fought each other once before. So right now, I have so far won one, and he hasn't beaten me before. So this is our second fight of out of four that we all had together in our careers. And this was a really close fight. I couldn't really pick a winner in it, and a lot of people said I won. A lot of people said Michael won. So I thought my aggression was up there. I was in great shape and didn't have problems with my weight. And Carbajal just boxed so elusively. He could stay there and just get away out of the punches just by a half an inch or an inch. He had really good spatial perception, so he was able to keep me sort of on the outside of his punches, and made it very difficult for me to get inside and to put some heat on him.
Now,
And
how would you describe your style?
well, they nicknamed me Bulldog, so I'm kind of stubborn. I don't.
I, you were
I
definitely a bulldog. You were moving forward. I didn't think you had a reverse gear in that transmission of yours, bro.
well, thank you, Bruce. I really, really, my style is based on strength and aggression. I was strong. I could punch hard, and I could take a punch. And the I
And man,
guess
you're right. You have short arms. Now,
yes.
you had to get inside. You had to get in that pocket. You had to take some punches for you to land a couple of punches, bro. You know that.
I sure did, and especially from Michael Carbajal. If there was anybody that was going to hit me coming in, it was him. He was just really good and just a top fighter. But yeah, I would be coming forward and using my I'd be bobbing and weaving, trying to slip before I countered. So I'd be trying to slip a shot or just move out of the way of a shot and countered, and then so I was really more of a counterpuncher. Really, I was aggressive, defensively aggressive. So I had a little defense. I had a little defense. I'd like to say I did, but just a little defense, and uh, but it was based on aggression. So it was just defensive aggression. So
Oh,
that's
bro,
what
you
it was.
you look like Joe Frazier coming in there blasting those left hooks.
Oh, well, thank you. If Michael would stand still and cooperate, I would have had a chance. He was able to sidestep me all the time, and he would hit me from an angle. So I was always like at some sort of an angle, or he'd maneuver me into a position that wasn't to my benefit. Great fighter.
No, Michael was a great fighter. He was a he brought you like you said the guys you just named, yourself, Michael, Humberto Gonzalez. You guys brought flyweight boxing to HBO, to Showtime. We didn't know who the flyweights were before that, man. It was they were mostly Oriental fighters or Mexican fighters, and they weren't presented on US TV. I know Ricardo Lopez. He fought for Don King for years. He never got the exposure. And this is the guy who went 50-0, I believe, didn't he?
I believe so. Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
he was a awesome fight. Hey, my brother Mad Chad just jumped on here. Scotty, this is a good friend of mine from Maine. He does a show with us on Tuesday nights. He's in here, so I want you to meet my friend Mad Chad. Mad Chad, Scotty Bulldog Olson.
Hello, Matt Chad. How are you
Hey,
doing?
how you doing, Scotty?
Oh,
Scotty, I'm doing
doing
great, and
excellent.
what an honor to have you here, man. You're looking great. I mean, what a fighter here, and just watching the fight, I was listening. I was kind of multitasking, real quick, but thank you for stopping by, Scotty. Going into this fight against a Carbajal type fighter, you being the shorter fighter, no reach. What is your game plan? Like, what is your trainer? Like what was your coach telling you in this fight? Scotty, we got to do this. Like, You said you were kind of the defensive fighter, but if you could take us back to this fight right here, like what was the it happens in a flash, but what was your instructions, if you could recall?
Oh, thank you very much for the question, Mad Chad. Well, in this fight here, my main concern was maintaining my aggression, but it had to be successful aggression. If I'm not making my moves at the right time, if I'm not making the moves at the right times, then I'm not going to get on the inside. So Michael, if he keeps me on the outside of his punches, he outclasses me and outpoints me every day of the week. But when I'm on the inside and I can work my shots and try to rough him up a little bit on the inside, and throw some shots. My goal really was to just stay as close to him as possible, as opposed to being on the outside. I stay on the outside, and he would just make me look like I was so easy to hit, which I was, but I wasn't as easy to hit on the inside.
And I'll tell you, you guys have the gloves that they're wearing in the amateurs today. They look like loaves of bread. They're so huge. They're 16 ounce. What are these gloves? Are these 8-ounce gloves you're wearing, or 6-ounce gloves?
These ones. I think these were actually. I think they had to be 10 back in the amateurs.
10. Wow.
I think they're 10-ounce gloves. Yeah. But
and you score by landing with the white part of the gloves back then. It was amateurs were totally different.
Yeah, it was strange because I could knock you down with my right hand. If I knock you down with my right hand, it's supposed to count as much as somebody landing their jab once.
Yeah. That's.
Now,
I think that's why a lot of fighters.
Were there butterflies leading into these fights? Were there butterflies leading in, Scotty? Like, did you have the nervous energy? Like, were you feeling confident? Was that part of part of your success? Like, what was your feelings going into these fights? Did you have that, the nervous energy, so to speak,
Sure. Well, if I'm taking a look at just sort of breaking it down on this one fight, I was kind of on a roll. I'd already beat Michael, so I wasn't too concerned that I wouldn't be able to do it again. I knew it was going to be a tough competitive fight. I knew Michael was going to come to fight. And I knew he had beaten so many good fighters, and we were just a good style. We had a shorter puncher and a taller boxer puncher. So it made for an entertaining matchup. And this one we were throwing shots all the time, and but I was trying to throw more combinations, so a few more punches, so it kept my power down a bit. So I was just trying to keep up with his volume, because Michael throws a lot of punches. He'll throw over 100 punches around. So I just tried to make sure that I kept my punch output up, and but that takes my power away at times.
Yeah, because you're nailing him with some right hands in here too. Michael has a good chin.
He does. Now you tell me. Yeah, he does. He has a good set of whiskers on him, and he can get hurt like other fighters. He's not invincible, but I'll tell you, I laid some right hands on him in the very first fight we had. That would have stopped a lot of my opponents, and he just took it and fought right back, came right back at me. So yeah, he's just a great competitor.
Hey, shout out to my friend Blood Boxing. He's out there, man. Blood Boxing, salute to you, bro. We got Scotty Bulldog Olson up here, my brother. Blood Boxing. He's one of us. He loves the 80s boxing, 90s boxing, and Blood Boxing here to see you, Scotty. Blood, if you have any questions, man, just let us know, bro. We'll ask the Bulldog, bro. He's here to answer some questions, and I'm going to show you some fights after this one, Scotty. Will you do some blitzing? You take a couple of guys out pretty early. We're gonna watch some of your power in a bit, but man, this is great. Now, was your biggest fight with Carbajal? Did you fight Michael Carbajal in the Olympics?
Yes, that was a big fight. That was, so we had fought once, which I won, and that was a really close fight too. And then this one here in North Carolina, That one was Michael won that by split decision or a majority decision. I guess it was a split decision. Then we went to the Olympics in '88 in Seoul, Korea, and that's where like I had beaten one of the guys I beat was really good fighter from Ireland, Wayne McCullough. So I was
Oh
able to,
yeah, the pocket rocket.
yeah, he was just amazing, amazing fighter. I won the first 2 rounds so well against Wayne McCullough at the Olympics. So we fought him at the Olympics, and I did so well for 2 rounds. I almost put him down a couple times, and he comes back and he beats me the third round. The guy didn't stop. He just kept coming after me. I couldn't believe it, and it was really funny actually. Because I really did win those first 2 rounds in our match, uh, without a doubt. And but he came back, and I thought he won the third round. So I love Wayne McCullough.
Yeah, I believe he was a world champ, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. He was
Yes, he
bantamweight
was.
world champion. So
Mm.
just a little bit heavier than I was, and a little bit later with me. He went to the Olympics not only in '88 when I fought him. He was pretty young when I fought him. He went to '92 Olympics, and he ended up winning a silver medal, only losing to Cuba in the final. So
All right, man. I want to pull up a fight. You fought this fight. Oops, excuse me here, man. Like I said, I'm so inept. I'm so inept with the internet over here, man. I've messed up my screen already here, man. Let me see if I can straighten this out. But let me try to dig up this fight that I have here. I need to take my glasses off to see my writing here. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, this was a cool one. Let me pull this up again here.
sure.
All right, we're back again. I messed a little something up here, but I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. All right, this was your fight against Elacio Gomez. You remember that fight?
With Gomez, yeah. I actually can vividly remember most of my fights. Most of them. There's a couple that I don't remember anything about, but most of
Well,
them
this
I.
one you you kind of shined in this one, my brother. And Anthony's here too. Trick Nolte's in here, man. I didn't see you in the
Oh,
back, Trick. Salute my brother Trick. Trick is the guy who puts this all together. He puts it possible. He reaches out to fighters, man. And I want to shout out to Trick Nolte, man. Trick Nolte, my brother, and he allows me to contact the fighters, and man, we get it up on here, we get it together, and it's a beautiful thing, bro. I really appreciate this, Scotty, and I appreciate Trick Nolte especially for bringing us together, man.
thank you so much, Trick
What's
Nolte.
going,
That is
what's
awesome. I
going
appreciate.
on?
Yeah, I really appreciate your help, sir, and helping me get on this show, and it's very very appreciative of that.
You're gracing us, my brother. And look at Michael Buffer. He looks like he's ready to go to the high school prom over there, man.
Yeah,
Carlos
yeah, he
Padilla.
was a pretty dapper guy. Yeah, yeah, that was back in the day when you had Carlos Padilla. He would
Mm.
be the referee sometimes. So, really
Yeah.
great referees.
We were talking about referees last night. There's so many of them that are too fast to pull the trigger. Like we had an incident this weekend, the Gary Antoine Russell fight with Francis Bartholomew.
Mm-hmm.
It was a close fight. It was I was going to give it to Russell, but it was a premature stoppage, and those premature stoppages, man, guys like Carlos Padilla, he'd let the fighters go at it. Guys like Mills Lane, they they were fan friendly, fighter friendly referees. You had guys like Joey Curtis jump in there and stop fights. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. But this over here, look at the Bulldog over there. He's getting a little bald on top. He's feeling a little more muscle coming in there. He lost that baby face, but he still looks like the Bulldog in there, bro. You're ready to go to war over here, Scotty.
Yeah, I was doing pretty well. I hadn't lost any fights in Nevada yet. Las Vegas was where I was fighting out of, so it was beautiful fighting out of Las Vegas. Couldn't you know myself and the casinos, we got along really well. I love fighting on them.
Well, here
But
you
yeah,
go, man.
this
The fight's just
yeah.
starting over here. Chen Smoke, salute my brother.
Yeah, yeah. Well, here's I was quite a I had a pretty illustrious amateur career, so I had a lot of experience, and every fighter that I would fight was usually from Mexico, so of Spanish descent, and uh, and sometimes they had an amateur background, sometimes they just were pros. So uh, so I'm not sure about this gentleman that I'm fighting, but right now I remember just trying to take a look at what was going to be open, and I could tell that I would find a home for my right hand at some point, but I had been hurting my right hand in a lot of my fights, so I'd figured I'd throw my left hook on this one, and I think that was one of the better shots in the fight was my left hook.
Coming up, this fight doesn't last too long. It doesn't go to the scorecards,
Hmm.
ladies and gentlemen. You're going to see some power from the Bulldog over here, bro. And what were you weighing here, Scotty? 112 pounds?
Yeah, 112 and probably maybe 115 for my opponent or
I,
somewhere around there.
I weighed that in the fourth grade, brother.
Mhm.
But look at you stalking him. He's not
Yeah.
going anywhere. He's only going in that corner, bro. He's trying to get some real estate there. You're saying, no, no, no.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just trying to eventually close my distance. I was told never to go after my opponents too hard in the first round, like take a look and see what was going on.
Oh,
Mm.
left.
You gonna cry in the
So
car?
that was a little left hook. I
I don't
lined
think
it
he.
up through my right hand, and then I came back with my left hook because I missed with my right hand, so gave him one more. It's pretty good. I think it should be a pretty good replay too.
Now, how was Las Vegas? That was obviously a career decision to move from Canada to Vegas. How did you find Vegas when you went there? Was it a crazy city or what?
Uh, uh, I loved Las Vegas, and I guess, well, I was more like Edmonton in Canada is sort of like a
Oh,
hockey country, and they like hockey and curling and things like that. So I didn't get very much help when I wanted to turn pro in my hometown. Everybody said no, no, I couldn't get any help. So then I drove down to Vegas and went into Top Rank, and going to go see Bob Arum and sign a deal, which I was able to get a good deal. So Las Vegas and myself, we got along really, really well. I was more recognized, I think more appreciated in Las Vegas and in Nevada, and in some of the in California as well. I think more so than I was recognized in Alberta, where I'm born. So yeah, I mean, Las Vegas treat just took me in and treated me really, really nice. A lot of respect. Great, great people, great fans, great sports fans. Yeah, it was awesome.
now, did you really have to keep it in control in Vegas? Because I know I've heard other boxers' stories where they moved to Vegas and that was it, man. The big lights, the money, their careers, their careers took second place over that. And
Hmm.
did you have to really block out some of those outside interests, stay in the gym, and stay away from the ladies, the casinos, everything else that Vegas is famously fun for?
Well, excellent question. Excellent question. That's a hard one to answer because, or else I'm putting myself in a bad position. But every time a new casino was built in Las Vegas, I always contributed to making one of those casinos. It seemed I did like to play cards, but I did all I did was work on my fights and work on my conditioning, focused on the fights. But during my off time, which I would have some off time, and that was fun to have in Vegas. I'd be playing cards. I go to the casino, uh, and not be fighting in it, just be playing cards and having fun. A lot of Canadians would be down there as well, so we all got along really well, and maybe a girl slipped in here and there, but that's what we had.
maybe a little bit slipped in here and there. I mean, damn, I don't think a monk could stay in Vegas for a month without a little slipping in here and there. I know I was out there twice, and man, I had to keep reminding myself, you're in love, you're in love. Get yourself, you're not in Kansas anymore. Man. Man, shout out to that. I'm gonna throw one up here. We can talk about. This is your fight with Esteban Rodriguez. You remember this fight? Your 10th professional fight. See if I can find it over
Yes,
here.
I do.
There
Yeah,
we
that one
go.
I hadn't seen for a long time. This was a tough cat. I nailed him with a couple right hands that would have knocked a lot of people out. And he just before this part, just when you first started the clip, I landed this right hand, and I hit him so hard, and then I just put my hands down, waiting for him to fall, and the guy kept standing. He still stood up. I said, "What's going on?" So this was a brilliant fight for me. Here's this right hand. I'll just show you.
Boom.
So and I put my hands down and waiting for him to fall, and the guy didn't fall. So these Mexicans come with a set of whiskers. They're very tough fighters. They always fought hard against me, and they were good in the lower weight cat classes. That's for
Is
sure.
that discouraging when you nail somebody with your best right hand, and you're waiting
Oh,
for them to go down, and they're standing there like, may I have another one, sir?
yes, yes, it's ridiculously embarrassing too because I mean you used to dumping guys with shots, and if I land a good shot, I know I land a good shot, and I just drop my hands, wait, look to appreciate what I had just done and accomplished, appreciate the shot I just gave him, and the guy keeps coming back and fighting, and yeah. I yeah, yeah, it's something else. So a lot of these fights, I started to learn how to block punches. Like I was elusive because I could stand in front of somebody, right in front of you, and not get hit, and but be blocking all the shots. So I'd be blocking them, and then I would throw punches off of my blocks, and and I was just physically stronger than most of the guys I fought. So they were at a little disadvantage, and I used it to my advantage.
Now, this was NBC, NBC Sports World, bro. I mean, you had a lot of televised fights. That's why people know who you are. And today, that's the sad thing. We don't see NBC, ABC, CBS putting on these fights where everybody can see them on free television. Now it's only reserved for the for the big fights, the pay per views, the Showbox, the Showtime, not Showbox, the Showtime, and the PBC broadcast. It's a whole different world now. That's why I love talking to gentlemen like yourself. That we could just go back in the time machine and look at the way boxing should be, man.
Oh, without a doubt, that is so well said. That's longer the days go that we're just not getting the coverage. So we used to be able to watch fighters from Top Rank or
Oh,
what? Oh, yeah.
oh, oh!
Yeah, we
Was
used
it?
to watch fighters from really from all over. I think I
All
take
over.
care of this guy pretty quick.
I mean, I developed relationships with these fighters. I fell in love with these fighters. They're on the tube 3, 4 times a year. Now, it's just not there. I can't. Young fans like when I was a kid, I'd be watching the CBS, NBC, ABC every weekend. And my mom, she wasn't even a boxing fan, but she'd be watching it because she's in the kitchen. And it was just it made boxing so much more family friendly. Look at that right hand. Damn. Wow. That should have
Yeah,
ended the fight right there. But we just don't see that anymore. And even like right here, this was only 30 years ago.
yeah, that's where I'm thinking is about that time. Yeah, this would have been about 1990 or just into 91. This was at the Rawhide, which was
Just
in
about
Phoenix,
there.
Arizona.
Yeah, I wish boxing would look back on the past and realize that the mistake they're making by not bringing this in for the general people to watch. Now you have to know how to use a computer if you're going to stream it, or you have to social media with Jake Paul and all this crazy bullshit. We're supposed to have a fight this weekend coming up, and the weight wasn't made, and I don't know, man. All I know is I was raised in an atmosphere where we were given quality fights like this every weekend, and we saw guys like you right on through their careers from the Olympics into their pro debuts, and into eventually your title fights. So man, they're just not doing that anymore. We're just not seeing it. Fighters aren't fighting enough.
Yeah. Hey, Scotty, I got a question.
Oh,
You got her.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah, I got a question,
Yes,
Scotty. Yeah, and that,
yes,
that
sir.
leads to I was thinking about something you're saying. We were just saying a second ago. I mean, I say you were one of the true pioneers of ESPN boxing from back in the day, like along with like Harold Brazier, Kevin Pompey, Charles Murray. Can you compare the can you compare the era of free TV back then to where it is now with the fights?
that's it.
Well,
Knockout. Sorry
yeah,
about
can I
that.
can yeah, he didn't want any more after that one. That was a good one.
Mm,
Okay, so uh, but you're asking me to compare between the television back then and now in
yes.
in the fight game. Okay, so
Hmm.
it really is you used to be able to have fights that you would see the same fighters on ESPN, or you see the same fighters at the Blue Horizon fighting in Philly. You'd see some of the other shows and you could actually watch shows on a weekly basis and develop a fan and become a fan of certain fighters. And then there was some that you didn't like and some that you really liked, and it was really a nice thing. Uh, and then all of a sudden they don't have NBC, ABC, CBS. They just weren't putting on those weekly fights anymore. So it's really hard to get a following in boxing now unless you're in and fighting for a world title that's televised on pay-per-view, or at least it's on pay-per-view.
Mm. Yeah, good point. Yeah, I just these guys fighting. I mean, the guys don't fight enough on free TV. I remember back in the day, where they used to put like fighters on commercials. Not so much commercials; they would put them on talk shows. I remember watching Iran Barkley and Tommy Hearns on Arsenio Hall show. That was great promotion. I think boxing got got away from that by putting fighters on those talk shows. Can you imagine when Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury was about to fight? Imagine them guys on Jimmy Kimmel one night. Both of them guys on the same panel with Jimmy Kimmel. Man, that would have been awesome. To see something like that.
Really would have. And then yeah, when you think of some of the fights, having, uh, even Canelo, he speaks fluid English now, and he'd be able to be on talk shows, and
Exactly.
it's just so much done through just the internet and without major television. Oh,
I found your title fight with Michael Carbajal.
oh,
Hope you don't
geez.
mind if we show this fight, bro, because you did real well. I I like the skin showing over here, bro. You're looking sharp and clean. Tell
Yeah,
me a
got the
little about
gold
this
tee.
fight,
Look at
man.
him.
Well, this
How
one,
how is your brain? How is your brain going in this fight? Biggest fight of your life.
yeah, it wasn't going very well. Well, first of all, I had to somehow overcome a few operations and a short time to lose the kind of weight that I had to lose. So I had to fight at 108 pounds. So my my game plan going in was just trying not to get myself silly in a silly position and get knocked out. I just didn't want to get knocked out, and uh, I was going to try my best, and I just was fatigued leading up to the stairs into the ring for that fight. For goodness sake, it was very hard, and Carbajal was still firing on all cylinders. So, I'll tell you, it was so nice to there were quite a few times I wasn't getting the shots. I wasn't getting the world championship shots. I wasn't getting the Carbajal fight first because we were both promoted by Top Rank. Maybe that had something to do with it. But I wasn't getting that fight, and I wasn't getting the big fights. So, I Michael just he'd put on a if he'd put on a little bit of weight, that would have been enough for us to probably make a fight at 112 pounds. But I couldn't get the fight well, I could only get the fight at 108 pounds. It was just little too small for me. And it's not a lot of weight. It's only 4 pounds difference from that to being a flyweight of where I was at. But 4 pounds is almost 4% of my weight. So, it does matter to some degree.
Oh yeah, I mean, you look at a 4 pound steak and put that against your body, and that's what you have to remove because you're talking basically when you're in the kind of shape you're in. That's lean mass you have to lose too. That's
Yeah.
that's not an easy thing. Right now I notice there's a lot of people are talking about the lighter weight fighters moving up, the bantamweights fighting the super bantamweights. You think there's anything to that, or you think fighters should stick to their own weight class?
Well, I think people want to challenge themselves. So the fighters want to challenge themselves, and it's all about you know getting into the boxing Hall of Fame these days. You can't just be a world champion. You have to be a weight and multiple weight and a multiple division world champion to get into the International Boxing Hall of Fame. It seems that's what it seems like to me. That may not be the case, but they're all after that notoriety of having more than one championship. Yeah, they're trying to step a little bit out of their weight classes, and some return back to their weight class,
Well,
and
well, like,
some continue going up.
well, no, like you were saying, the difference it made for you to get down to this weight, and so, we just saw we saw Canelo Alvarez try to move up and take a 175-pound title, and everybody thought it was going to be easy, and he found out that 15 pounds of solid muscle is a whole new ball game. It wasn't like fighting a washed up the Russian that he knocked out earlier, Kovalov.
Kovalov,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, this Bevel, he is something, and Baturbiev up at 175. That's a fight that I want to see. I would love to see that fight. But the thing is, man, they make these fights too late. Make these fights now. How long are they going to make us wait for Errol and Bud Crawford and Errol Spence?
it's been a couple years now, hasn't it?
Well, I'm on the internet almost every day. Yeah, I'm on here every day, and that's almost all they're talking about now. The fight's signed. It's not signed. It's fine. It's not fine. Signed. It's crazy. They're blaming one side is blaming the other, and there's some heated exchanges going on here. I just want to see this fight made because to me it's a pick 'em fight. It's a 50-50 fight. But I don't know. Like, is boxing today? Is it all this money, the contract, all the stipulations, rematches, A side, B side? I don't get it. Was that stuff around in your day, Scotty?
It was, but I think the fighters were a little bit more, a little more reasonable, a little more reasonable to take a fight. Like if like I wasn't getting a lot of the shots. Uh, I was ranked number 2 in the world. I wasn't getting any title shots, uh, and so I had to wait until there was another belt that opened up that allowed me to fight for the championship because I wasn't getting any WBA or WBC IBF love. I was ranked very high in their positions for some of the belts for some of the time. I just um, kind of lost track of where I was, but
Oh man, I do that all the time. All you know, and I never took a punch to the head. Not in a glove fight anyway, bro. But man, I guess it's part of us getting older but staying young. That's the way I like to look at it, man. You're not gonna fight the clock, but you can keep yourself healthy and ready to kick ass if the need may be.
yeah. Yeah. It's a good thing if you can keep yourself, motivated enough to keep yourself moving, just so you don't dry and shrivel up.
I'll tell you what, this internet, this YouTube, this is almost like a, I don't know, man. It's a breath of fresh air sometimes for me when I can come in here and talk about real boxing. Get gentlemen like yourself on here, Trick Nolte, Blood Boxing, Mad Chad. It's kind of like a therapy for me because there's no way in hell I could go out and I could find boxing fans to talk boxing, to watch a fight on TV over here, critique it with one of the guys who was in the fight. I mean, this is insane. I never thought this was going to be possible, ever, man.
Wow.
But it's a good thing for me though, bro. But now this was later on in your career. How many fights did you have after this fight? Was this the almost the climax of your career?
No, this I was. Well, it would have been pretty close to being on top of my game, but I just wasn't on top of my game in this particular fight. So that it was really sad because we would have put on such a great fight, like an even greater fight, more sparks, more like uh, a fight to be remembered. That's the kind of fight that Carbajal and I should have been. But I was just so light and lost my punching power. So I wasn't punching very hard, and I needed to be able to have a chance against Carbajal. He's just too good of a fighter, and uh, I tried hard. He's just see he's not even breathing. He's having his day in the sun. and I'm struggling to stay in there, and it's only round 3.
You think Carbajal noticed this? You think he noticed this wasn't the same Bulldog he's been in the ring with 4 times?
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. I would have put a little bit. Oops, I keep slipping in there. But yeah, I would have put a lot more heat on him. I stayed on the inside, but Michael let me stay on the inside. He didn't move around me quite that often. He was staying within punching range, so he didn't have any fear of my punching power. So I think he could feel that I obviously wasn't as strong as I should have been.
Mhm.
I landed a couple shots in the fight, and I landed a few combinations. I ducked out of the way out of a lot of punches too. So my defense wasn't too bad. I just didn't have that punching power. Uh, I did, that was just had subsided and disappeared on me. So I was just punching like uh, well, I just couldn't punch hard. Yeah, and stay
Yeah,
could
you nailed him right there with a couple of nice shots.
yeah,
That looks like
there might have been an odd shot, but I had to be able to move him with my punches. I had to be able to hit him in the arm and hurt him a little bit. I had to be able to bang his shoulders up. I had to be able to come up with some uppercuts and and hard ones at that. And just without the power there, I felt very uncomfortable fighting. It's very scary. I'm fighting
Oh.
one of the best fighter I've ever fought, and I have to fight him without that much punching power. It scared the hell out of me. I didn't. I expected. Uh, I didn't expect a whole bunch, but I was going to try as hard as I could.
When when did you realize you didn't have the power? Did you know that when you went into the ring, or did you
Yeah,
find that out?
that was a few 2 or 3 weeks before the fight. I had had some operations on my eyes and my knee, and lastly was on my knee, but I was very heavy. And they finally gave me the fight. They said Michael Carbajal will finally fight me. I said, yes. How much time do I have? And they said, well, you got 5.5 weeks. Well, that's good if I was on in the gym or anything like that. But I was just coming off of surgery, so I had to come down from about 135 pounds, down to not only 112 but 108, and uh, these are not excuses, because Carbajal, uh, him and I are going to be a great fight no matter what. I just think he was, because I didn't have my punching power in this fight. He was able to take his time a little bit more, and he wasn't too rushed to get me out of there. And uh, yeah,
Well, he doesn't know if you're fucking with him or not. He doesn't know if you're going to lay the bomb on him. You know, like you said, you got Plan A, Plan B. Plan A obviously wasn't working. Was Plan B working, or was it more like almost a survival mode?
yeah, it was getting to be, I'd throw a couple punches and then I would stay on the outside. I'd throw a couple punches and stay on the outside, because once I got on the inside, I'd waste some energy and I got tired. So it was hard to get inside, rough them up, and have that strength like I used to, and be able to maneuver my opponents around, uh, and be a bit of a bully in there. But so he was very comfortable in the fight. He would back up. He backed up to the ropes like he is now. I'm hitting his hips a little bit, trying to catch him with a bit of a hip shot, but.
Now, do you
But I just don't have that punching power, that not that zing that
do you think his team? You think his team knew that they scouted you? They knew that you had your knee operations, your eye operations. I mean,
yeah.
you think you were basically easy pickings? He looked at you like a cherry pick. I hate to say it though, bro. You think they might have looked at you that way for this fight?
It was a chance to get my name on his resume, uh with the least amount of trouble. Like I there were some times where I was making 112 and not too badly, but I wasn't getting this kind of a fight. This was quite an overdue fight. It would have been talked about for quite a
With
while.
with the best pound for pound flyweight in the world. I mean, this was how could you turn this fight down?
Oh,
And
I didn't. I
like
didn't.
Blood saying it happened to Larry Holmes too. He was given short time for Tyson, and I've heard that several times. Don King got him up off the couch, gave him 4 weeks to get ready for Mike Tyson, and Larry, that was another building in Eastern Pennsylvania, so Larry took that fight. But
Yeah.
when he had a proper training camp and he fought Ray Mercer, that was a whole different Larry Holmes in that fight. So you can
Wasn't
only
that
imagine.
something? Yeah, that was an incredible fight. That was great. I'm glad you mentioned that one.
Mm, yeah, you can see that you just don't have that. You don't have the bully in you right here. You just can't do it. Your footing. Well, you obviously know what it is, man. You're just not 100%. And to fight somebody like Michael Carbajal, you have to be the 100% Scotty Bulldog Olson.
Yeah, yeah. You just don't. You don't beat Hall of Famers very often, and when you do, you have to be at your top of your game, and I wasn't at top of my game. But the thing is I was so proud of Michael for allowing us to fight again, or to allowing me an opportunity. I was really happy for that. He did a great thing. I can say all I want about my weight problems and this and that, but he stood up, and he the fight was available. The date was available. He said, "Okay, I'll fight Scotty," and that's the fighter Michael is. Michael is the kind of fighter that never turned anybody down. I just think his team could have gotten this fight done a little bit earlier when would have had it, when it would have been more exciting to watch. It just this isn't the most exciting matchup that I've ever seen. you
We
know.
I sped it up a little bit. Captain Chaos, thank you for coming by. PGH Big Dog, bro. Salute to you, man. Thank you for coming by, bro. Man, but Scotty, regardless, we know the outcome of this fight, man. I just wanted to highlight your career over here, bro. I mean, you've done some great stuff, and people. I don't know if they've been following you at all, but you had a near fatal heart attack not long ago.
Yes.
You were in a coma for what, 5 days, I believe.
Yeah, I think I was in a coma for at least 3 of them, at least 3 days, and then they didn't really think I was going to wake up, but I woke up.
Well,
So I know.
you look damn good right now. Well, how did a top athlete? Was there any warning signs? Is it just something that I mean, obviously, my dad died 52 from a heart attack, so I'm leery of it, regardless. But was there any warning signs, or is it in your family, or was it just something that the good Lord laid upon you?
It was just it was something that ran in my family. So I was genetically predisposed to having a heart attack, just with high cholesterol and stuff like that. But they weren't I wasn't expecting a cardiac arrest whatsoever. I didn't expect because what ended up happening was I collapsed, and then I was pretty much in a coma from then on for a few days. So they were able to somehow revive me because my heart had stopped. So they somehow revived me, and they helped bolt me back together like they used to in the fight days. So yeah, it was nice to be able to come through one of those serious health scares.
Man, I mean, life is so precious, and Anthony was telling me earlier when we spoke about you, not to you, but he mentioned you have a daughter who's singing now. She's entertaining,
Yes, I do. I do. I
and
have a daughter. Her name. Well, so I had my first daughter, and her daughter. Uh, Her middle name is my wife's first name. So we put anyway. So now I thought we were going to have a boy. We ended up with another girl. So I put my name into her middle name. So it's Hannah Scott Olson, and she's just an amazing entertainer. She really feels comfortable on stage and feels like she's just right in her zone. So but thank you, Anthony. Thanks for mentioning that. And
oh, I wish we could. I wish I'd gotten in touch with you earlier. We could have played some of her music on the show.
oh yeah,
Does she have a social website, or is she just still in the early stages?
she's at Hannah Scott Olson, at Hannah Scott Olson. So and that'll be
Is she on YouTube?
yeah. I think she had a couple
Oh,
songs on my YouTube channel that I put her onto my channel because I just want to have something out there for her. So I think there's an older version of her, like we would be talking 4 and 5 years ago when she was pretty young. So she's 21 right now, really coming into her own, and I'm so proud of her. I was a pretty good fighter, but she's a better singer than I was a fighter, and maybe that doesn't say much for me, but she really is good, and it's nice to watch. I consider myself an entertainer as well. I loved entertaining the crowd. The crowd was the only reason why I would stay in there. Oh, and there he got me in the 10th round with a body shot, and that was just he just was, I think, waiting for that one for the whole night to throw, and he just finally decided to throw it. He might have even carried me a little bit in this fight, where he could have knocked me out earlier, but didn't. So he is just a stellar individual, great fighter. I have a lot of love for him, you knew it was going to be a battle if him and I were typically going at it.
Oh, that was some good stuff, my brother. Some good stuff. There was some. How did you end your career? Was it on a good note? Did you end it on your terms, or was it or did you fight a little too long, or
No, no, I
how
didn't
did
fight
your career end?
long. These are good questions. They're hard to answer too, because whether or not I was gone by that time or not, it's hard to say. Uh, my very last fight, I moved up 3 weight divisions and fought a kid named Steve Molitor, I think he was undefeated, 11-0 or something. So I gave the kid a shot, but he's like 5'7", really 5'8", big, really big for his size, and quite a bit bigger than me. So I think I shouldn't have moved up too many weight classes. I ended up
I
getting
was
stopped.
bantamweight too.
Yeah, that super bantamweight or something like that,
Super
122
bantamweight.
pounds.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
I'm looking at it
it
now.
was just, yeah, a few weight classes, one or two too many for me. But I just figured out, as a young kid, he'll say he'll fight me, which was great. He's Canadian, and let's give him a shot. So I did what fighters should do, is give fighters that are up and coming a shot. I gave him a shot,
Pass
and
the
I got
torch.
knocked out. But in the so it wasn't on my terms. My family wanted me to. They're saying, "Oh, Scotty, you better retire. You better retire." And so I'm thinking and considering things, so many things. So I finally decided to have a press conference and hold a press conference and retire. So I retired, and then it was like, now what? Everybody told me to retire, but they didn't tell me what to do after that. So I was pretty lost as a person, as I had severe drinking problems throughout my life. Still battle with some stuff today, but back then it was very hard for me to uh, 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 to remain sober, uh, and have so many negative thoughts about the fact that I didn't finish my career on my terms. I finished it well, they just weren't on my terms. It wasn't when I wanted to finish, and it wasn't when I wanted to quit. So I had some, what do you call, anyway, I was pretty upset for the fact that I just didn't that I allowed my career to end before I wanted it to end. I should have give it one more shot and see what I could do, at a lower weight class, of course.
Oh, bro, really have no regrets, and you had a great career, man. You know what? And just speaking to us, you're a survivor, brother. Man. You've been to hell and back. You tangled with the devil, man. And, your hand went up in another victory, brother. And that's I love hearing that, because you're an inspiration. You're an inspiration to somebody like myself, brother.
I'm
I
very
appreciate that.
flattered, very flattered, very flattered. I just, there's some pretty good things in my story. So I've been writing my autobiography, so that'll come out hopefully within the next year, and that's when I would think it would come out anyway. So there's a few things that are in that book that a lot of people don't know about. There had been alcohol and other abuses going on. There had been the having some other mental health issues, I guess you could call them. So there were some issues, and it's not a book that is puts me on a grandstand. It kind of brings me down, and I had enough bad times and down times that I don't deserve to be looked on as I am at times, because of things that I've done, and I've made the wrong decisions. And there have been, life has been a little bit tougher, and in the book, I try to explain that. I don't do myself very many favors in the fight in the book, but we're
Hey,
working on including some stuff.
life is raw, but look at where you're at now, man. I'm going to read that book myself, and I've tangled with so many demons in my life too. But that's what this is all about right now. We don't look in the rearview mirror, man. We try to keep ourselves in that. Me, unfortunately, I'm in the fast lane, and I'm trying to pull over to the right, but there's so much going on. But this is good therapy, because I've had battles with drugs and with alcohol all my life, and this right here, this keeps me sober, man. I want to stay involved in this community. I want to talk about boxing. I want to remember what happened yesterday. And this is, to me, this is great therapy, because mental illness right now. We just saw Danny Garcia the other night on television, kind of have a little mini breakdown in the ring. And people don't understand the pressures, especially boxers, bro. You don't have a team to fall back on. It's a one-on-one thing. You got so many people relying on you, man. People don't realize that the fucking pressure of all that, and of course, alcohol and drugs. That that's what we turn to. That's what eases the pain. That's what we think is going to ease the pain. But man, I love talking to a road warrior like yourself. And the battle, we fight that battle every day. I don't know about you, but I do. And there's things like this that just reinforce the positives, get rid of the negatives. And man, I don't know where we're going. I don't want to get redundant, bro. I just thank you so much for coming on here. And if you have a social media, please, if you can't put it on the screen now, give it to me when the show's over, and I'll make sure that the people know how to reach out to you. If you have a YouTube channel, because man, we're all in this to be part of it. And man, you're such an interesting guy. There's a lot of people that are going to be really really interested in your story. Real boxing fans, man. Guys who know. We fuck the fluff. We want the meat and potatoes, bro. And Scott, you're a meat and potatoes kind of a guy, my brother. Water. That's what I drink all the time, man.
That is awesome. No, amen to that, man. That's some good stuff. Great stuff. No, I appreciate the compliments too, and I'm certainly, I don't know, I appreciate the compliments. That's really, it's been just so much fun being on the show, and I enjoyed talking to you guys so much. And I've been friends with Anthony and for quite a while now, and it's just so it's so nice when things kind of seem to come together, and then it just makes me feel just great and more completed that we were able to get this done. So I appreciate that.
Now I know you asked me
Hey, also
yesterday.
Scotty.
Yes.
Hey, Bruce. Yeah, I was. It's a guy in the chat. I was telling this one guy in the chat. I said sometimes we text and stuff or talk or whatever. We didn't talk boxing, man. We be talking about the birds and the weather, man. We didn't talk boxing. So yeah,
That is true. Yeah,
yep.
that's what I've loved about our relationship. I really do. There might be a little boxing coming in over the last couple times we talked, but yeah, otherwise it's bird and the weathers. And do you have any cardinals where you live? And yeah,
Yeah, it's crazy,
that's
man. I'm a
'cause
bird
I don't
watcher,
have a
everybody. I let
cardinal.
everybody know I'm a bird watcher.
Yeah,
Mm.
so yeah, I'm all plugged in. I'm all plugged in with the bird stuff now. So I'm checking out to see. I'm going to sanctuaries and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
My
Cool,
wife loves
cool.
birds. She just put a bird bath and a bird
Wow.
feeder in the yard. And she's not only birds, but squirrels, chipmunks, moles, rats. They're all coming to feed out of the bird feeder. But I mean, it's nature, things like that. that's what kind of takes the place of the alcohol and the drugs for me. I smoke reefer. Don't get me wrong, man. I'm a pot smoker. I got my medical marijuana card, and I put down so many other bad drugs that I was prescribed Wellbutrin, gabapentin, oxycontin, freaking benzodiazepam. I don't take any of that shit anymore. I smoke marijuana, and I think that keeps me in check. But when Trick tells me that he's got a boxer that'll come on the show with me, that's like a special high. That's like my heroin, man. That's like that's what gets me through to the next fix. And bro, Scotty, having you up here tonight was a great time for me. I'm not gonna butter your biscuits up anymore, bro. Great guy. Make sure you you have my email. So email me how these people can see you on social media. And if there's a when that book comes out, believe me, there's going to be several people here that want to read that book, myself included. So
Yep, me too.
I'm going to let you go, bro. It was great talking to you, and I'm gonna send you an email tomorrow. If you can send me the social media information, we'll do that. And bro, we'll stay together, man. It was a pleasure talking to you, my brother. God bless you. Stay healthy, wealthy, and wise, man. Peace, my man.
Oh, that is wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm very honored.
Well,
Thank you.
I'm the one who's on it, man. Scotty Olson, everybody, man. Scotty Olson, great guest, and thank you so much, man. Peace out, my brother.
All right, you guys.
All right,
take care.
Scotty.
All right,
All right,
Anthony.
you too.
You take care. Man. All right, Chuck.
All right, I'll be in contact.
Okay.
All right.
Trick, man. Thank you so much for having the great Scotty Bulldog Olson up here. This was one of the coolest interviews we've had, man. Every one of these interviews is so cool, bro. So Trick, man. Thank you, my brother.
Hey, man, we went from mob boss we went from underboss to Scotty, man. What we had was it last week? We had Tommy Attardo. Was it last
And
week?
I talked to Tommy today after I think I sent you a text about Scotty's
Right.
address, and then all of a sudden my phone rang and it was Tommy. And man, when Tommy calls you, bro, that's a half hour right there, easily. And he wants to come back on eventually. He wants to come back on with he mentioned a couple of fighters that he wants to bring on here, and Peter Manfredo is one of them.
Yep.
And,
Okay.
And there was another one that he mentioned too. I can't remember right now. My brain is fried. But anyway, man, it's gonna be fun to have him up here, man. C Wood, bro. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for coming in here, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate everything. If you didn't see this interview, give it that. Play it on the playback, man. Make sure you give your thumbs up over here and sub to us. We had Scotty Bulldog Olson. It was a great show, man. I'm not going to take up any more of your time. We did a show yesterday, so I'm out of here, man. Thank you guys for coming in here, man. Peace out.